In this video, I'm going to talk about something I learned from the Postural Restoration Institute, and that is the existence of chains of muscles in our body which have a huge impact on how we move or how we don't move, and that plays into chronic pain, recurring injuries, maybe performance problems, like you're trying to do a proper squat and you just can't get the right positioning no matter how much somebody coaches you. These chains of muscles that we all have affects our posture and our movement. Now, one of the most important chains of muscles that Postural Restoration Institute talks about is called the left AIC, which means left anterior interior chain. And using my anatomy app, I'll kind of show you the anterior interior chain of muscles includes on the left side, the diaphragm, which is that guy right there, our respiratory muscle, the psoas, which most people know as the hip flexor. It feeds down into the thigh and attaches, you can't see it on this one, but also the rectus femoris, which is another chain of muscles, and on the back there is a hamstring muscle. This is a chain of muscles because they function together. And if you actually do a dissection, you'll notice that these are all, even though they're separate muscles as far as we've categorized them, it's actually one continuous line of tissue. So if you do a dissection, you'll notice that these don't really separate. It's all a continuous line. So we've categorized different names, like that's a diaphragm, that's a psoas, and so on. But as far as the body is concerned, this is just one thing. So it's involved in different aspects of how we move. But what the left anterior interior chain, why that can be a problem is because this left side tends to be very hyperactive in a lot of us. So it changes the way we move. We're not able to use our left side properly because basically these muscles are just chronically turned on, and if you can't turn them off properly, you can't really move in and out of certain positions. So we may not be able to see it outside of our body. We look pretty symmetrical, but inside we're very asymmetrical, and it's not displayed in this app, but inside of our chest cavity we obviously have organs. We have heart on the left side, liver on the right side, intestines, lungs. Our two lungs actually aren't the same size. Now, this actually influences our postural issues and influences these chains of muscles because this asymmetry inside of our body and made by our organs makes us have tendencies to use one side of our body more than the other. And it really doesn't even matter if you're left-handed or right-handed. That's a question that comes up all the time in these courses because if you're left-handed, you may do a little bit different, a few different things than if you're right-handed, but that doesn't change the internal anatomy of your body. It doesn't change the way your heart, liver, and lungs are positioned. Interestingly, there is a condition called situs inversus totalis, which I think like 2 to 5% of the world's population has, and it actually is a complete flipping of your internal organs. So your heart will be on the right side, liver will be on the left side. Everything is completely mirrored. A lot of people don't even realize they have it because it doesn't affect anything as far as your health. And I think there's a few famous people. I can't remember who they are right now. There's like 2 or 3 really famous people that pretty much everybody knows that actually have situs inversus totalis. And the reason that's important as far as this chain of muscles goes, because they've documented these people that have situs inversus totalis actually have a flipped overactive chain of muscles. So instead of, like most of us, that left chain of muscles is overactive, on those people the right chain of muscles are overactive. So that leads to basically reversed postural compensations and movement compensations. And it's really interesting, but a lot of people don't realize that chronic things like reoccurring hamstrings or hip impingement, chronic low back pain, sciatic or piriformis syndrome, a lot of these are caused because of this left to right asymmetry. And it doesn't cure itself. There are exercises that can be done, and Postural Restoration Institute teaches you the programs that you can do to help, get this asymmetry in check. But it's something that I want everybody to be aware of, that if you've got some kind of chronic issue or a pain or a problem that you just can't seem to resolve, it could be because it goes to this asymmetrical chain of muscles that we have inside of us that are due to this internal asymmetry we have. So you can't necessarily train your way out of it in a traditional sense. Like if you feel like your left side's weak, you can't just start doing more, hamstring exercises or bicep curls or something, because you're not changing the core musculature. But again, there are ways to do that. So if you're interested in learning about that, you can contact me. I've been trained in Postural Restoration Institute, and I can do assessments and then teach a person the correctives that it would take to get you out of these patterns so that you can get out of pain and get to performing in sport or everyday life the way you want. That's it for this video. I'll see you in the next one.